They just feel...
Raging Merson says ridiculous Alexander Isak has destroyed Newcastle legacy. This club put him on the map. Paul Merson has launched a blistering criticism of Alexander Isak over the striker's attempts to engineer a move to Liverpool, accusing him of showing blatant disrespect to Newcastle United and claiming the Swede has permanently damaged his once heroic status on Tyneside. Isak's time in the Northeast had seemed like a perfect fit. He played a pivotal role in ending Newcastle's 70-year wait for domestic silverware by winning the Carabao Cup and helped secure Champions League qualification for the second time in 3 seasons. Yet after 3 years in the famous black and white shirt, the forward has made it clear he wants out, and the atmosphere around St. James' Park is turning increasingly sour. The situation escalated when Isak skipped Newcastle's preseason tours of Asia, instead traveling to Spain to train with former club Real Sociedad. On Tuesday, it emerged that he had moved out of his Tyneside home, a move widely seen as an attempt to push Newcastle into selling him. Newcastle, however, remain firm. The club insists Isak is not for sale and have already turned down a £110 million plus add-ons bid from Liverpool. Eddie Howe's side are holding out for their £150 million valuation, hoping to discourage the Premier League champions from making another offer. But with Isak adamant that he has no intention of playing for Newcastle again, Merson believes the situation is spiraling into something ugly, and he hasn't held back in his assessment. It's a mess of Isak's own making, Merson told Sky Sports. It's ridiculous. Newcastle put him on the map, and now he's taking a massive gamble by reportedly saying he'll never play for them again. In Newcastle, football is everything. It's a one-club city, a goldfish bowl. If this move doesn't happen, I wouldn't want to be him facing those fans. Merson warned that repairing the relationship with supporters would take more than a few goals. If the transfer falls through, he'd have to score week in, week out, just to win a fraction of the fans back. He could have left as a hero if he'd kept his head down and played hard until the right deal came along. Everyone could have parted on good terms, and he'd still have brought Newcastle a huge profit. But that chance is gone. The former Arsenal star believes this is yet another example of how top players in the modern game can wield too much influence over their future. Once a player's head is turned, that's usually the end of it, Merson said. We're convinced Isak wouldn't walk away from Newcastle, but here we are. They've just ended a decades-long trophy drought. Everything was going well, and then bang, Isak throws a spanner in the works. Merson also questioned the timing of Isak's actions, suspecting the striker thought Liverpool's opening bid would seal the deal. I think he assumed £110 million would be enough. Newcastle refused, and now he just wants out. That's why he's saying he won't play again. He thought he'd leave a hero, but now that's impossible. The fallout could also impact Newcastle's early season form. It doesn't look like he'll face Aston Villa, Liverpool, or Leeds if Newcastle dig their heels in. Lose 2 of those games, and they're in trouble. It's staggering that this can even happen. He's on a huge contract, with 3 years left, yet he's refusing to play. Merson argued that Newcastle were instrumental in raising Isak's global profile. Sure, he was talented before arriving, but now he's a worldwide name because of Newcastle. If he just trained with the squad, kept performing, and let things happen naturally, a move would still have come eventually. He's not a one-season wonder. Someone would always want him. Instead, Merson laments Isak's decision risks erasing much of the goodwill he built. He could have been remembered as a major part of the club's revival. Now, a lot of people in and around Newcastle will remember him very differently. That's the real shame. Summing up the mood, Merson said, Newcastle's summer has been close to a disaster. It's been a nightmare window for them so far, and it could get worse before it gets better. Premier League Summer 2025, all completed transfers in major exit talk. The summer transfer market is officially in full swing, and business is already brisk across the Premier League. Clubs have been busy confirming new arrivals and releasing players at the end of their contracts, while negotiations over blockbuster moves continue behind the scenes. This year's window has 2 phases, from June 1st to June 10th, and then from June 16th until September 1st. Below. You'll find a roundup of every confirmed deal so far, plus some of the biggest ongoing sagas making headlines. Liverpool, fresh off their 2024-25 Premier League triumph, have already strengthened their squad from a position of dominance. Manchester City, stung by losing their crown, are working hard to assemble a side capable of reclaiming the title. Arsenal are also gearing up for what could be a transformative summer. Chelsea and Newcastle United, both set to compete in the 2025-26 Champions League, are expected to be among the more aggressive movers. Meanwhile, the three promoted sides, Leeds United, Burnley, and Sunderland, are plotting moves to ensure they remain in the top flight beyond next season. For the latest rumors, Team Talk's homepage remains the go-to source. But here's what's confirmed and what's brewing. Sancho's standoff with Manchester United. Jadon Sancho has taken a firm stance over his future, creating a major headache for Manchester United. The winger, who joined from Borussia Dortmund in 2021 for £73 million, €84.4 million, $98.5 million, arrived with huge expectations after scoring 50 goals and registering 57 assists in 137 matches for the Bundesliga side. However, his Old Trafford spell has been disappointing. Just 12 goals and 6 assists in 83 appearances, a public fallout with former manager Erik ten Hag saw him loaned back to Dortmund and later to Chelsea. The London club even paid a £5 million, €5.8 million, $6.7 million penalty to avoid making the move permanent. Now, under Ruben Amorim, Sancho is not part of United's plans. His contract expires at the end of the season. According to Fabrizio Romano, Sancho and 4 other players formally informed the club on July 4th that they want to leave, but his £250,000 a week, €289,000, $335,000 salary is proving to be a stumbling block. Journalist Graham Bailey told United in Focus that Sancho has made it clear he'll only move under his own terms. We've seen him reject a wage cut for Chelsea, and he let a Napoli opportunity pass for the same reason. Juventus are confident they're close to a deal once Nico Gonzalez is sold, but United will have to contribute financially, whether it's a loan or permanent deal. Well, as it stands, United have dropped his price, but won't massively subsidize his wages. Sancho is ready to sit out until January or longer if necessary to get the move he wants. Besiktas have now emerged as a potential escape route. Club president Serdar Day, speaking to Turkey Today, publicly confirmed his interest. The fans want him, I want him. But it depends if the player wants to come to Turkey. We have a budget and will do everything possible. Players like Sancho usually prefer Champions League clubs, so whether it's possible is hard to say.